Today I'm going to show you how to make this leg lamp Christmas ornament. Hi friends! For this project you're going to need some polyester or synthetic cord. I just discovered this brand on Amazon and it is amazing. And of course I'll leave a link in the description box for you. You're also going to need a small pair of sharp scissors and a lighter. To start this project, we're going to use our small 10-inch cord in the color Latte. Next, we're going to attach 4 strands of the 30-inch gold cord. Fold your cord in half, and then with the loop end, place that behind your Latte strand, and then thread your long tail ends through that loop. And that is how you tie a lark's head knot. Repeat the same thing with the last 3 cords. You should have a total of 4 cords on your original strand. With the first 4 cords, we are going to tie a square knot. To tie a square knot, fold your leftmost cord over the 2 centers, and then with your rightmost cord, place it behind the 2 centers and up through the loop of your left. Then fold your rightmost cord over the 2 middle, and then your leftmost cord goes behind the 2 center and up through the loop of your right. Great, now we're going to do the same thing with the next 4 cords. If you ever feel like I'm going too fast for you, feel free to adjust the speed of this video by tapping the 3 dots on the top right corner, or you can go ahead and check out my knot tutorial playlist. And if you're enjoying this video so far, please do me a huge favor and give this video a thumbs up. Alright, grab another strand of your 30-inch gold cord, fold it in half to find the center, and then place the center right behind your first 2 sets of cords. We are going to tie what I like to call a floating square knot. Basically, it's the same exact way you tie a square knot, only your cord is kind of sliding up and down on your first 2 cords. Once you've tied your floating square knot, slide it all the way up to the top, right below your first row. Now take the 4 middle strands and tie another regular square knot. This square knot will join the 2 square knots above it together. For the last 2 cords on your right, we're going to attach another floating square knot. Alright, our third row is similar. We're going to attach 2 floating square knots on both ends and then 2 regular square knots in the center. Okay, so for our next 2 rows, it's quite simple. We're just going to do regular alternating square knots. Skip the first 2 and the last 2 cords, and then tie 3 square knots in the middle. For our final row of gold cord, we're just going to tie 4 square knots all the way across. And don't forget to add the first 2 and the last 2 cords that we skipped from the previous row. Alright, now here is where the pattern gets tricky. Remove the first 2 and last 2 cords up and out of the way. Those 2 cords are done. Next, grab your long 40-inch strand of black cord, Place it behind your first strand of gold with a short tail on the left and long on the right. Make a loop on your right. Wrap your long tail around and through that loop. Now this isn't quite a knot yet, so to turn it into a knot, you want to repeat the same thing. So make a loop on your right with your long strand. Wrap it around and through that loop. Cinch up the slack but not too tight because you want to be able to slide it all the way up to the top. Then you can go ahead and tighten it up. And that is how you tie a vertical double half-hitch knot. So let's do the second one together. With your next strand of gold cord, you want to make sure your black cord is underneath it. Make a loop on your right. Wrap your long tail end around and through the loop. Cinch it all the way up to the top, and then repeat one more time. Make a loop on your right, wrap it around and through the loop. Now I'm not gonna lie, most people have a hard time with their vertical double half-hitch knots. So I thought I'd share a tip with you if you're not quite confident with this knot. The biggest tip I can give you is all about your tension. You don't want to tie this knot too tight. You want it just to loop around your gold cord. When you tighten it too much, it could cause it to buckle, and then your knots kind of look a little wonky. Also, I would like to point out that your first row is not going to look perfect. When you do your second row, that's when you'll notice that for whatever reason, your vertical double half-hitch knots will start to straighten themselves out. So just trust the process and accept that your first row is probably not going to look perfect. Once we complete the second row, it's going to look much prouder. Alright, so for your second row, instead of going from left to right, you're going to use the same strand and go back in the opposite direction. Grab your black cord and place it underneath your last strand of gold cord. Make a loop on your left this time. Wrap your long tail end around and through the loop. Cinch it up to the top and repeat one more time. Now, someone commented on my last video how they can work from left to right but not right to left. So if you also struggle from working backwards, what you could do instead for this pattern is you could snip off your black cord and then just repeat the same thing as you did in the previous row. For this leg lamp pattern, it really doesn't matter if you go backwards in the second row or not. However, if you do try one of my macrame pixel wall hangings, then definitely you're going to need to work in reverse for those. I hope that helps you out for this specific pattern. Alright, now we're almost finished and the rest of it is so much easier. Flip up all the cords except for the 4 in the very center. We are only going to be working with the 4 in the very middle. Grab your 1 30-inch strand of black cord, fold it in half to find the middle, then take that middle and place it right underneath those 4 cords. Now we're not attaching it at all. All we're going to do is take the ends and flip it up. It's only just placed behind the 4 middle. Next, grab your last strand of 30-inch cord in the color latte, fold it in half to find the center, and place that center behind the 4 gold cords. We are going to tie another floating square knot. Once you've tied your floating square knot, slide it all the way up to the top and try to get it as close to that black fringe as possible. Next, tie one more square knot directly underneath it. Now grab that black cord again and very carefully you want to cross it over. This part can be a little finicky, so I find pinning it down onto my board is really helpful. You should have an X shape over top of your 2 square knots. Now you want your black cord underneath your latte cord. So make sure that your black cord is tucked underneath your latte, and then with your latte cord, you can go ahead and tie 2 more square knots. Your first square knot will hold your black cord in place. Once you have your 2 square knots secure, grab your black cord and cross it over in an X shape over top of your 2 square knots and pin that down onto your board. And again, make sure your black cords are underneath your latte cords and up and out of the way. Next, grab the 4 gold cords that are in the middle and find the very 2 center cords. Then what we're going to do is snip off the 2 gold center cords right at the very base of your last square knot. Be very careful not to cut anything else. Next, you're going to take your latte cord and tie 2 regular square knots around your 2 gold cords. Next, grab your black cords again and cross them over top of your 2 square knots. Pin it down onto your board, and then don't forget to take your black cords and tuck them underneath your latte. Next, tie 2 more square knots with your latte cords around the 2 center gold cords. Grab your black cords and cross them over your square knots this last time. And again, don't forget to tuck your black cords underneath your latte cords. With your latte cord, we're only going to tie a half of a square knot. Now we're going to divide our 4 center cords. You're going to have 1 cord on your right and 3 cords on your left. With your black cord on the left, we're going to tie half hitch knots around our 3 middle cords on the left. All a half hitch is making a loop on your left, wrapping your long tail end around and through the loop, and cinching it up snug up at the top. Repeat this for a total of 3 half hitches. Next, we're going to do the same thing to the right hand side, only we're going to make our half hitch around just the 1 strand of latte cord. You want to do a total of 3 half hitches on this side. And there you have it, a little high heel. But we're not finished yet. Unpin it from your board, and what we're going to do is we're going to make the hanger at the top. Take the 2 loose ends at the top and make an overhand knot. Snip off the ends, and I like to leave about a centimeter. Then melt the end just a little bit so it doesn't unravel. Working in sections, snip off your cords, leaving just a tiny little tail end, and then grab your lighter and melt the ends. When you're pressing your ends, try to press it towards the back of your ornament. Repeat this with all your loose ends. I have many more macrame Christmas tutorials coming up in November, so make sure you're subscribed. And I'll see you in the next one.